My name is Iyad.
And how long have you lived in the Holy Land?
I was born and raised in Jerusalem.
Sorry for this one to move around the camera. Sounds good to me. Alright, can you describe the first time you saw the wall?
The separation wall was started to be built in 2001, and my first time was with a group that I took them to Bethany, and we couldn't go through, and that's when they were building the wall, which was shocking.
And what did you feel when you first saw the wall?
It was very, very disturbing. You see all these huge cranes, and when you hear about a wall, it's not something really small like what people talk, like Berlin.
Hold on. What happened? Oh, it's just like the washing machine.
But the washer just stopped. Okay. Is it okay if we start over? Because
Yeah.
yeah, that'll definitely we'll hear that later.
Yeah, I was just like, that's not.
And we're rolling.
Alright, and what's your name?
My name is Iyad Kumri. I'm Arab, I'm Palestinian, and I'm Christian. I was born and raised in Jerusalem.
Awesome. Can you describe the first time you saw the wall, Iyad?
The separation wall that Israel started to build was in the year 2001, and it was by end of that year when I took a group to Bethany, and we couldn't drive through because that was the way to get to Bethany. And so it was shocking to see cranes putting all these cement blocks which is 28 foot tall.
Do you feel like your voice is heard?
My voice is heard maybe through what people come and to visit the Holy Land, but about heard all around, I think not the case, because how many people can actually come and see and look at the wall? It's not as what you read; it's when you come and see.
And can you describe what you hope for the wall, or like whether you're for or against it?
Walls will never ever bring peace. That's my philosophy, but I think walls should come down. It was proven all over the world that walls will never ever bring peace. I'm hopeful. Who said that Berlin Wall was going to come down? So I'm hoping that one day we're going to have two courageous leaders that will say enough is enough and walls will be taken down.
And what are your hopes and aspirations for the future in general?
Future is to have again two courageous presidents that will sit together and they can sign a peace treaty that we see Christians, Muslims, Jews live happily in harmony. There's enough land for everybody to live in at the Holy Land, and so that's my biggest hope.
And do you think, how do I ask this? Sorry. Do you think the Palestinians are oppressed as a people?
They are impressed because, especially being in the United States, where some people have no idea what is going on, I think the media doesn't give the real point of the way we live, and so our voices, I think, I have to be honest that some people saying we do hear about the suffering. Again, as much as you read, as much as you see, it's not when you come and be right by the wall. It's very, very difficult for me to describe it. It was shocking for me when I saw it. And so whoever people come and see, especially if they saw the Berlin Wall, they say this is not even close to it.
What role do you think Americans or any international citizens should play in helping to bring down the separation
I think
wall?
any country in the world can help, especially the United States. The United States back Israel so much. There's lots of money comes to help Israel. And so they can put a little pressure on Israel by saying, stop building walls. The key again is with the American government. So we hope that a little more pressure would be put on Israel, that hopefully one day those walls will be torn down.
Awesome. I think you're good.
I think that's everything. Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Alright, so please say
Sound check. Sami, Kumri, me, sitting here.
Turn it up a little bit. There we go. You got it?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
Alright, so we'll begin.
Mm-hmm.
What's your name?
I'm Sami Kumri.
How long have you lived in the Holy Land?
I was born and raised in the Holy Land, so basically all my life so far.
And where do you live currently?
I live currently in North Carolina. I'm going to college. It's called Brevard College. I'm an art major, so.
Awesome. Can you describe when you first saw the separation wall?
Well, it was definitely shocking. first time I heard about the separation wall was, of course, like when it came out on newspapers, pictures, and then the first was a week after they started building it, and the first time I saw it was near my oldest house that I used to live in my childhood years, and so I had flashbacks of how I was a kid, and now the area where I used to play in, and now there's a wall right in the middle, so you could imagine it was hard to deal with and imagine.
What role do you think Americans or international citizens should play in bringing down the separation wall?
Well, for one thing, your economy, taxes is the number one thing that's keeping the wall up. The taxes that you pay is being funded to the Israeli government, and that's what they're using to build the wall. Now, I'm not saying that you Americans have to go against your government and be like, okay, we're not going to stop paying taxes, but you can, in every state, you can vote, and you know the roles, to stand up for the Palestinians and state your reason and say we want to stop violence, we want to stop helping build that wall. And this actually would be one big important thing that Americans can do, and it would be a major help for them, support.
Do you feel disempowered or voiceless as a Palestinian, as opposed to a lot of your American classmates that you see in the classroom these days, or?
Depends. I mean, sometimes people would be affected by what I say all the time, but like what Iyad said, you have to actually be there to experience it, to know what it is, and then you will understand what my voice is saying. Because just talking about it is just another story in history.
Do you, oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Do you think, like, sorry, I'm trying to get, I forgot how I worded this one. Okay. Do you think the Palestinian people are oppressed or don't have access to the things that Israeli citizens might have, especially like Israeli Jews? Do you think that they don't have access, or the wall prevents access, like healthcare, education?
Yes, definitely. Palestinians do not have access to certain areas, even areas where they used to live in. Like, for example, my family, I have family who lives right now behind the wall, or friends, that I can't access pretty much to see them. I can, but it's so difficult, and you might or you might not. So imagine just visiting your family on special occasions only. When you were a kid, you could always visit anytime you want. But we are restricted to some areas where Jews live. I personally have more to go, but other Palestinians who live in the West Bank, who do not have an Israeli ID, cannot at all. So they're basically trapped in this little area surrounded by a wall, and they have no access at all. So they're basically in there. And yes, schools. Some kids in the mornings, they have to pass checkpoints every day, so the soldiers might not let them go or pass by. It just depends on their mood, basically. The first week they can go, the second week they can, the first 5 days they can, or the rest of the month they can't. So you're basically ruining their education. And jobs too, the families, husbands and wives and fathers and mothers, they always have to go to work, and they might not pass, they might stay home. It's all those things.
What are your hopes and aspirations for the future?
Well, my hopes are to have eventually a good president, 2 presidents that would actually sit down, like what Iyad said, to discuss peace and to live at least in a 2-state solution where everyone has their freedom, they could live in harmony, all 3 religions, Christianity, Islam, and Judaism. And yeah.
Do you think the wall can only come down through peace, or do you think it will resort to violence in the end?
I personally think through peace. There might be a little bit of violence, because basically in every single war thing or occupation that happens, there has to be violence, but at the end it would be with peace. They would have peace, and the wall has to come down.
Awesome. Okay.
I just have a question.
Yeah.
Has your perspective changed at all since you've been going to school here, or how's your life changed since you've been here?
It hasn't really changed. if you're asking me personally, I've been visiting the States ever since I was a kid, so I have a feel of it. And it's a different country. I feel like there's more freedom right now. I'm more relaxed. I don't have to stop by checkpoints or be harassed by soldiers and checking my ID all the time. But it's more freedom, and I'm happy to be here.
And do your classmates know what is going on in Israel and Palestine, whether it be the wall or other aspects of the conflict that you might know but your classmates don't? Do you find that at all?
Barely enough. Like out of 10, there's only 2 who at least know the main idea and what's going on. Some people have no idea. Some people, to be honest, some people don't know what Jerusalem is. They would think back to what they had in Bible studies probably when they were kids and just remember, oh, was Jesus living there? You know, they have absolutely no idea what's going on in Israel. So some people do not know a clue, and some people do understand what's going on.
So I think that's
Are we
great.
good?
I think